What is up, everybody? Now that is more like it right there, baby. That's what we wanted yesterday. Celebrating the very first Lasagna post game. That was the type of game we wanted, but Sagano had other plans. But we're going to talk about the positive today. First and foremost, I just got to acknowledge my guy right here, T-Rent. How can you not respect what T-Rent is doing right now? The jersey was created just for this moment, and there we are. So we are living good in the world of T-Rent. And I got to say, a victory like that calls for something special. And what do I mean by special? What could possibly be special enough after a game like that? And you might not be surprised. But we got to have the Blue Mountains ready. Look at those mountains. You see those? Let's get a little closer. A little too bright. Those Blue Mountains right there. Holy shit. What a treat to watch a victory like that and have a Blue Mountain. So fancy. We're going to have it in a little fancy champagne glass. Are you kidding me? That is top shelf, folks. I got to tell you. Anyways, enough of the pageantry. Let's get into some baseball talk. So, fantastic 15-3 victory for the Yankees. This is exactly what we wanted to see yesterday. Great response today after a tough loss. And the old saying goes, you're only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. And how great was Carlos Rodon today? I mean, this is going on his third great start in a row after, having a little bit of struggles early on in the season. So it's really, really nice to see him get on a run like this. Going back to a couple starts ago, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 9 Ks, fantastic. At Cleveland, after that, 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, 8 strikeouts, another fantastic start. And then we got today, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 7 Ks. And he had a perfecto going for, I think, into the 5th. So that was fantastic. You cannot talk about perfect games. You cannot talk about no hitters while they're going on. Can't do it. Very superstitious over here. May or may not be a former baseball player. It's fine. You don't have to be a baseball player to understand that you don't talk about that shit. All right. It's a 100-year-old superstition. You just don't do it. I know Michael K loves to, talk about it when it's going on, whatever, but not over here. But tip of the cap to Rodon, 3 straight great starts. Obviously, this is a rotation that's a little shorthanded after some injuries in the spring. You got Heel and Cole missing substantial time. So Max Fried can't carry the load by himself. That just can't be how this goes. You got to have at least a second guy in the rotation who's going to carry some of the load, log some innings, take some pressure off of the ace of the staff, and perform. Go out there, do your job. Quality starts, 6 innings, 3 runs or less. Give your offense a chance to compete. And man, the offense today was just phenomenal. I mean, if you go on the MLB app and you scroll down the box score on the Yankees box score there, and you see the doubles, the home runs, the total bases, the RBIs, absolutely fantastic. It's like a 5-paragraph essay down here, which is damage, just straight damage, which is phenomenal to see after a little bit of struggles yesterday against Sagano with that splitter he kept throwing. It was so damn annoying. But Ian Hamilton came in 2 innings, kind of bridged the gap there to the end. 2 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned runs, and 3 strikeouts, which is fantastic. Great to see him getting back to form. You expect him to figure into that setup role going forward. He's got the stuff. I don't know what they call that circle change thing he throws, but it's fantastic. And his heater's velocity has been ticking up a little bit, little by little. So definitely very exciting to see from him as he figures his way into the setup role. Going to get Loaizaga back soon too. So, there's going to be a little bit of a cluster there. Williams is trying to figure things out. We know Weaver's going to be closing for now at least. But that setup role right there to bridge the gap to the closer is going to be very important going down the stretch. So nice to see Ian Hamilton get that together. Saw Joan there say Slambio. There you go. I always forget what that damn thing is called. it's a crazy thing to call a pitch, but it's fantastic, and it's got a really weird, strange movement you don't really see very often. So love to see that. And then Tyler Matzik, obviously the overall numbers are not great, but as they kind of alluded to during the telecast, lefties that throw 96 don't grow on trees. So you get a guy like that into camp. He had some injury issues, but you take a risk with a guy that used to have some success with Atlanta back in the day as one of those setup guys. Big, tall lefty throwing 96. I mean, might as well give it a shot. I know we got Tim Hill, a couple others floating around lefty-wise, but a little bit depleted there in the lefty department. So if Matzik can get some reps, get on the field, face some batters, get in the rhythm, locate that 96 better, get the breaking ball down, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great to see. Fantastic for this bullpen, obviously, but that's another thing Rodon did great today. The velocity looked fantastic. It was up to 97. He was sitting 95, 96 early, ramped it up to 97 when he had to, which was fantastic. And it looked free and easy. You don't see the laboring, grunting, fighting himself, trying to get the extra ticks of velo. And earlier in the season, I'm not sure if you might have noticed, but sometimes he would throw a fastball and he would turn around and look at the scoreboard. He's looking for the velo. He wants to see what he just threw. Your body can feel good, your arm could feel good, but sometimes early in the year, maybe you're not built up innings-wise enough. Weather, grip, certain things happen, and the velo is just not there. So he's been looking for that velo himself, just like we have. And 97 today consistently is fantastic. To right-handers, which is the things he kind of struggles with at times. He gave up a lot of homers last year. When I saw Bernard mention Cousins, he's going to be a really good ad as well. The slider, he spams that thing. He throws it over and over again, but it's sick. It's nasty, and I know he throws 96, so whatever. What's going on, Ian? So getting back to Rodon, he was throwing hard. He was locating well. Right-handers, he kind of struggles with at times, struggling with the home run ball. Today, he was keeping that fastball, forcing fastball down and away from the right-handers. That's where that needs to be to avoid damage. If you want to miss away, miss way away or miss down. But he was dotting that corner, 96, 97, and he was tunneling that changeup right off of it, which that changeup has been a fantastic pitch for him this season. But if he can establish that lower away quadrant against right-handers and throw the changeup in the same spot with the same arm action, it's going to come out of the hand. The hitter's going to think it's going to be a heater. They're going to be way out front. I think his changeup was down around 85, 86. So you're getting that roughly 10 miles an hour of separation that you look for with a changeup. To get hitters to the heater, and it's fantastic. It's a great equalizer. It's not an easy pitch to throw, which is why there's been some growing pains with Rodon throwing that changeup more. But he looks more comfortable with it. He's locating it great, and it's kind of given him that extra way to get right-handers out. We all know he loves to throw the high fastball. We know he loves to throw that slider down and in to righties, that back foot slider with 2 strikes. So obviously, if you're at the plate, you expect to see the four seam. You expect to see a slider down and in at some point. Maybe he tries to backdoor it, but if he can dot that heater down in the way and tunnel the changeup off of it, unbelievable. And you've seen the results of the last 3 starts. They've been fantastic. So that's more of what we want to see from Carlos Rodon going forward. And he's done a great job of that today. So tip of the cap to him. Now let's get into this lineup. Today was unbelievable. So many great things you want to see from so many of these guys. Especially the young guys. We've been getting on Volpe, been getting on him. I've been getting on him. Twitter has been talking about him, not in a great light. And he's showing some things in the last couple of days that he's getting out of that little mini slump he got into after the great start early. And he's starting to find himself again. I think this is 2 or 3 games where he's hitting for extra bases in a row, maybe 4. Seeing the doubles. We saw the Oppo homer. We saw another Oppo base knock today. We saw him pull a ball. These are all of the things we want to see from Anthony Volpe going forward. Obviously, we want to see the offense. The defense is there. He made a couple of great plays again today. Looked fantastic. Definitely what you expect going forward from him. He's always going to play a pretty solid shortstop. He won the Gold Glove. We all know that. But that inside-out swing, that opposite field approach from him is fantastic, especially with 2 strikes. Give himself a chance to get a knock instead of strike out. You don't got to try to hit a homer every swing, which sometimes he gets big and your front shoulder flies out and he's trying to yank a homer. Those are the type of habits that he gets into sometimes and he struggles. But when he's on the ball, shoulder stays inside, hands stay back, let the ball travel. He's putting barrel the ball and he's driving it the other way, and it's fantastic. It comes natural to him. If you saw him in the minors and you saw the opposite field homers, you saw the opposite field doubles, you saw the damage, a lot of it was to the opposite field. So when he's going right, a lot of the damage you're going to see the opposite field, and we're seeing that right now. So we know Volpe's on time. We know this is a great place where we want him to be going forward to try and, stay in this rhythm, stay with the inside-out approach throughout the whole season, and see if he can reach some of that potential that we all know that's in there, that the organization has told us is in there, judging by who they passed on before and anointing him the chosen one at shortstop going forward. So some very encouraging signs to see from Volpe there. And we just hope it continues. Another young guy, Ben Rice. Are you kidding me right now? This dude is absolutely crushing everything. 2 homers today. Had a third hit in there somewhere. Scored 4 runs, 2 RBIs. I mean, the guy's OPS is just under 1,000. And he just looks like he's covering anything relatively middle in, which is a great thing to see. Obviously, with young hitters, the pull side is going to be the easier side, especially for lefties in Yankee Stadium. It's very enticing to see the short portion, want to pull everything. But he's crushing. He's crushing his pitch. He's getting it and he's not missing it, which is great. Sometimes guys can, take too many pitches. We kind of saw that with Trent Grisham last season when he wasn't as aggressive early in the count. We wanted to see him, if you're going to get that first pitch hitter, be ready for it, smoke it. He's kind of doing more of that this year. But Ben Rice, it looks like he understands his strike zone. He understands what he's looking for. His approach looks solid. It looks sound. He's not getting into some bad habits. And when pitchers make mistakes, he is making them pay in a big way. Didn't mean to rhyme there. I did it on purpose. But I mean, I think I saw a stat earlier that I think in 50 games last season, he hit 7 homers, and I think 3 of those came in 1 game. He's about half of that in already this season. He's already passed his home run total from last season. So this guy is looking for his pitch. He's getting it, and he is not missing it. And that's fantastic to see from a young player trying to make an impression. Definitely he's doing the right thing in terms of his approach, his mindset, whatever he's working on behind the scenes, it's all working. And we're seeing, some young guys all kind of start to come in their own a little bit. Wells had another great game today. I mean, I wouldn't say great, but what we were talking about on yesterday's show was Austin Wells' ability to not only willingly go oppo, but go oppo with damage. Again, lefty in Yankee Stadium, you want to pull everything. It's enticing with the short porch. Austin Wells stays on the ball. That front shoulder stays in, and he hits the ball opposite field with authority. And it's great to see because a lot of young hitters sometimes don't do that. They get into bad habits. I said on Twitter earlier, this is smelling like a 15-run type of game. I think they were at 14 there, and then Wells, I think Girardi or Kay or somebody, Wells wants to get it on the hit party. And of course, he goes oppo and hits the homer there. So fantastic to see from him. Plus, he's on my fantasy team. So I'm a little more emotionally invested in Wells. Dominguez, who sat today. I mean, you can't complain about Dominguez sitting when they score 15 runs. One of those things where Dominguez is sitting there going, damn, I mean, do they even need me? Like, what am I even here for? So tough look for Dominguez. I know he was probably pissed off sitting there watching the home run parade while he was sitting. But, yeah, Wells looked good. Volpe looked good. Rice looked good. So those are the young guys. Cody Bellinger, some of the things we're looking for from him to get out of this little funk. Towards the end of the game, obviously his home run was fantastic. I think he had 2 hits, so he did some damage there. It was a double. Okay, so Bellinger had a double. He had a homer. He did some damage to RBIs. Fantastic. And this is some of the things we're looking for from him. Obviously, we're not expecting him to replace Juan Soto's production because that's just unfair. Nobody's Juan Soto. I know Soto's struggling right now. My guy Bernard in there. Look at Lady Red Sox in here trying to stir the pot. Unbelievable behavior from her. But but yeah, I mean, we're looking at Bellinger trying to turn the corner, get into a rhythm. Let's see some of the things he was doing in Chicago when he was on the Cubs. We want to see some homers, we want to see some doubles, we want to see the good approach. And something that he did today, besides the damage, that obviously was great to see. I think one of his last at bats, he's lefty on lefty, facing the hard throwing lefty coming in there, up to 97, I think it was. And when you're struggling as a lefty and they bring in a lefty to match up against you throwing 97, that's not ideal. So Bellinger stayed. It was an outside pitch around 97. He kept his front shoulder in, stayed on it, drove it the other way. I didn't have Savant open, so I don't know what the exit velo was, but it was a good sign. It was caught, obviously, but it's good to see him on 97, left on left, not trying to pull off of it, didn't roll over to second base. You know, those are the kind of things when you're in a funk, especially a lefty trying to pull everything, try to pull an outside pitch, you're just going to roll over, easy out. But yeah, like Lou said in the chat, AB's looked good today. I think there was a walk in there. He had a double, he had a homer, so very encouraging to see from him. We just want to see it more often. Need to see it more consistently. I know Kyle Gibson, man, you want to talk about a rough debut to your season? I think this was his first start in the regular season for the Orioles. And he looked like shit, man. Poor guy. I said it yesterday on yesterday's post game before we closed out. Kyle Gibson is the definition of mid, and holy shit, that was a lot worse than mid. He got absolutely hammered. So tough look for that guy. But going up and down the lineup, obviously Trent Grisham. I mean, he only had one hit today. It was the homer, but I mean, he's hitting 294. He's got an OPS over 1,000. Obviously, this is not going to continue. Maybe it will. Who the hell knows? But 99.9999% chance that doesn't continue. Obviously, he's been mostly a career backup last couple of years. He started for the Padres and the Brewers and had a couple of good years there. He has showed power in the past, but this is power, you know, that I think we're going to call unsustainable. He's got 8 home runs already. Absolutely crushing the ball. Gets a start there with Dominguez obviously sitting, and it's created this dilemma where you can't sit Grisham when he's playing like this, obviously, because he's crushing everything. You need the offensive production, and he plays a great center field. So it's not like he's a one-dimensional guy. He's going to give you athleticism on the base paths. He's going to catch the ball in center. I mean, you can't. You had the misplay yesterday, but that's an anomaly. That's an outlier. We don't, you know, sit on that and call him a bad defender. We all know he's a great defender. You got Aaron Judge, obviously. You got Bellinger, who they're paying $25-ish million to, I believe, and he's got to play more to get back in the swing of things. We saw it today. You can't sit him after a game like this because this might have been the first step towards, you know, finding some sort of rhythm. So Dominguez has kind of found his way into I guess you could call a platoon situation. With how drastic his splits are against lefties, I mean, it's tough. And plus, he's not. I mean, obviously, he's gotten a little bit better since the season started playing defense out there. But if you're gonna decide between a hot Trent Grisham and Dominguez, who's only hitting good from the side, and you know, a bit of a defensive liability out there, it's a tough choice. So I mean, I guess it's a good situation for the Yankees. It's an embarrassment of riches, obviously. You got Bellinger out there who's starting to find it. We hope. You got Trent playing great defense, hitting. Judge is hitting. Dominguez hitting great from the left side. You got 4 guys who you can plug in on any given day and expect some pretty solid results from. So it's going to be interesting. I think the Yankees are facing a lefty tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Povich. So it's going to be tough to put Dominguez in there tomorrow against a lefty, unless you want him to face lefties more to start to figure it out from the right side, which he needs to get more reps, obviously, to try to figure this out. We would all love for him to have the unlimited run that Volpe's had since he came up, obviously. But, you know, Wells is starting to get that free run. So it's going to be tough. Obviously, once Trent cools down, which we don't want to happen, but it's going to happen, they're going to have a decision of, you know, is T-Rent going to go back to the, you know, kind of reserve backup outfielder role, or is Dominguez going to get some more run there? I would like to, obviously the future is Dominguez. He's 22 years old. I want to see him get the Volpe treatment. I want to see him play every day. I want to see him face lefties. I want to see him improve defensively. I want to see him taking those steps towards becoming the player we all know he could be. But again, he is only 22, and T-Rent's on fire right now. But obviously that decision will get a lot easier once T-Rent cools off a little bit, which we all expect. But another guy that's going to be tough to fit in there is going to be Ben Rice once Stanton gets back. I know Stanton had the double fucked up elbows and all that whole kind of crazy thing, getting all these shots, getting all this stuff. And you figure he's not going to play much defense, obviously, when he comes back. I mean, he's a pretty one-dimensional guy. He's just in there to hit for power play and start at DH. So I hope they're working with Ben Rice. Obviously, we saw him at first base a little bit. They don't love him there. I know he could be a backup catcher, but we need to find a way to get him consistent at bats, because that's how he's going to not only continue to stay hot, but that's how you see what you have in a young player. You got to let him play. I think David Cohn kind of alluded to that earlier today. You don't know what you have with a young guy unless he gets, several hundred at bats throughout the course of his season, gets consistent playing time. Baseballs are creatures of habit. You get into a rhythm, you start seeing pitches well. You can't sit after that, which is part of the reason why Grisham's playing so much right now. But with young players especially, that consistency and that rhythm is huge. So Ben Rice, it's going to be really tough, because obviously Stanton is the October hero. He's big-time power hitter, could hit 25 to 30 homers at this stage of his career, even in limited time. So that's a bat, you want to get in there. But it's going to be tough. I think if you can't really platoon Rice with Goldschmidt, because Goldschmidt's hitting well right now, and he's much better defensively. Especially when he's hitting against lefties, he absolutely owns them. So it's going to be hard. I mean, you can't move Rice to the outfield. You already got too many guys there. I don't think Rice plays third base. So it's going to be really tough to try to find consistent at bats for Rice. But at this point in time, Stanton, I believe, is still in the very, very, very early stages of even swinging a bat, even hitting off a tee. So maybe I think he did take batting practice on the field last week for the first time. So he's getting closer, but they're going to slow play him. I mean, I wouldn't expect to see him on a consistent basis until maybe July. I mean, he's going to have to go through a full spring training. He's not getting any younger, and we know he has a history of those soft tissue issues, groin, calf, hamstring, quad, all that kind of stuff, oblique. Those are the kind of things you don't want to flare up while an older player is kind of gearing up, ramping up the workload to try and play at least half a season in baseball. So I think Stanton might get a full maybe 3 or 4 weeks in the minors hitting. He's got to be running the bases. He's got to be swinging the bat. He's got to be, baseball activities, getting the swing of things. So I think Stanton's still a while away. So this is a problem, we're not going to have to worry about for now, at least for a little while, maybe a couple months. So hopefully Rice stays hot. He continues to get those opportunities. He keeps hitting the ball, and those are all great things to see from him. I see Joan talking about DJ with a setback. Man, you can't. I'm not even going to approach rooting for injuries. I'm not rooting for injuries. You can't do that. Bad karma, bad fan, bad people. But it just kind of seems like DJ is asking a lot of his body, and his body is telling him, bro, this ain't working anymore. Like, he's 6'4", he's a big dude. He tries to play third base, middle infield, obviously wear and tear on his body. I haven't seen the metrics, but it seems like his bat speed is slowed down. Obviously, he can't run well. Hard for him to lift the ball. That was a big thing with him in his, most recent times playing. It's kind of, this team doesn't need a DJ LeMahieu to get in the way right now. I'm sorry. I'll take on Oswaldo Cabrera and a Peraza platoon with the athleticism, a little bit of upside from Oswaldo hitting left-handed. I know sometimes he'll poke a single or hit a homer every now and then from the right side, but it's not anything you expect. And Peraza looked good today, if we're being honest. Even his out looked good. He scored the ball up pretty well. I think he had a couple hits. I think he had like a swinging bunt, and then he had another pretty decent knock, hit up the middle. I think he had a couple RBIs. So, 2 RBIs, 2 hits, and he scored a run. So, I mean, Peraza, again, another young guy, another guy that really hasn't gotten that consistent run since, he's been floating around as a Yankee prospect. Obviously, on this team, the way it is right now, he's not going to get that run because he obviously hasn't proven that he can hit consistently. But it's hard to prove you can hit without the run. He's just in a tough spot right now because Oswaldo Cabrera offers more offensively, obviously, from the left side, and he plays pretty good third base defensively. So I would take those 2 young guys trying to figure things out on a day-to-day basis, offering pretty good defense, offering, some athleticism on the base paths, offering a little bit of pop, then try to squeeze a DJ LeMahieu in there to hit in the double plays, to not be able to lift the ball. We don't want those automatic out types. Again, it feels like we're in one of those kind of transitional periods. There's some veterans on the team, but there's also a lot of young guys playing. It feels like you're kind of trying to move away from the older dudes and transition to the next generation of Yankees, the next generation of great players that will hopefully, take over and be consistent and sustainably good for a long time. So it's just tough. I mean, fitting DJ in there, I just don't see. I just don't see it, because you can say, oh, well, he could not platoon, but he could, give Goldie an off day at first. But why wouldn't you put Ben Rice there if you're going to do that? Oh, he could play third base, but I would rather see Oswaldo and Peraza platoon there rather than see DJ LeMahieu hit ground balls to the shortstop every time. So it's tough, man. They're paying him. I think it's a pretty good amount of money. I think he's got a couple years left. I haven't checked, but it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, seeing Bernard in the chat there. Jazz is hurt. They're calling it a left or a right flank. I'm not 1,000% sure. Not a doctor over here. It sounds like it could be relatively, not worrisome injury. Obviously, we don't want to see oblique. That would be horrible, and it usually takes weeks and weeks and weeks. But it was crazy because he swung and he had the pain. Obviously, he grabbed his side, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it could be something horrible." And then he takes a little off his next swing, and he smokes the ball down the line and legs out a triple. And you're like, "Holy shit!" I mean, maybe he found something there. Maybe he's not that hurt. He just smoked the ball pretty well. Then he dives head first in the third base. Why would you dive head first when you got a side issue? Doesn't make sense to me, but it could be just be instinct. I expected to see him slide on his backside, a little pop-up slide, be comfortable, whatever, and see how he was going to react with whatever he just hurt. But he dives head first. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? And then he comes out of the game. So obviously it was bad enough to where he was a little concerned. The training staff was concerned. And into the dugout he goes. So he's another guy. I mean, tough start to the season, just like Bellinger. I guess you can call him a veteran. He's been in the league for a little while. He's had some pretty, decent seasons. He hasn't had the track record that Bellinger has. So you can't really expect him to, hit 40 homers or something. I mean, Bellinger did win an MVP. So there's a little bit of levels to this, but he did have a pretty solid season in terms of his counting stats last year, playing a portion of the season with the Yankees and the portion in Miami. So we expect to see him be somewhat close to what he was last season. And this is a tough blow for him, man. I really hope he doesn't miss a substantial amount of time with this injury, because he's a bat we're going to need going forward. I mean, he's one of those guys, left-handed, Yankee Stadium, has some pop. I think he's still within the top ranks of the American League with home runs, I think in Major League Baseball in general. So definitely a guy you wanted to see, find his groove, get back to what he was doing last season. And if he has to miss any time, it's going to make that even harder. So definitely a tough blow there. I see Lou saying it's probably going to be a little while before Lombard can get the call. Yeah, I think Lombard is very early. I think he's only played single A. So he's going to have to prove that he can hit in single A. They're going to have to bump him to double A, maybe have a year in double A. I don't know. Sometimes guys will make the jump from double A and play very limited time in triple A. So there's always a chance within the next couple of years he can maybe outperform his expectations from the organization, and hit better than expected and get those reps and look like a major league quality player quicker than expected. So that would be fantastic if he does. But yeah, he's in high A right now. So I mean, he's got a ways to go. But I mean, obviously you like to see what he's got there, talent-wise. I saw someone mention, let's see, I expect Cameron. I expect post All-Star break return for Stanton. I think that's a pretty reasonable expectation. I know we're about to enter May, and he's taking on-field batting practice. So I don't know. Let's say May. Let's say it takes let's say it takes 2 weeks in May to kind of ramp up. He spends a month doing a rehab assignment. So I could see July being relatively realistic. So that's good. Joan talking about DJ's hip being bad hip is not good. Yeah, bad hip is not great, especially for a guy that's been struggling with the lower half stuff of the foot. a quad or a calf or something recently. But I mean, having to get a shot for it, he's going to be down for the next couple of days after getting that cortisone shot and continue his rehab and see what the hell he's got. I mean, he's been hitting decently in the minors the last couple of highlights I've seen, but I just don't think he figures into this rotation that they have going on at all. He should just be a bench player, a veteran presence in the dugout. I don't know how he is behind the scenes with guys, but maybe someone, that the young players can turn to for some advice if he's around. But he doesn't seem like the very approachable, friendly, I'm going to teach you a bunch of shit guy. So whatever. They owe him money. They're going to figure him in there some way, which is unfortunate. And it's just kind of how the Yankees do it. I mean, I know Judge kind of stuck his neck out for him, trying to. I don't know why he. Obviously, they're friends. DJ LeMahieu, there was rumors last year that he might be DFA'd. The Yankees might just eat the money, and I think Judge kind of overruled some of that and was like, no. He's had a good. I don't know if it's because he's had a career and you want to be more respectful to a veteran player, a guy who's contributed over the years. But tough, man. It's going to be tough to figure DJ into there, and they're going to do it. It's going to be hard to watch. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be disappointing. Hopefully, if he gets bad enough, they'll pull the plug. Because obviously he hasn't shown any signs of being what he was before last season. A lot of struggles, so it's tough. Like Bernard said, Peraza is going to play with Jazz out, so maybe that opens up a backup role for DJ if he comes back sooner rather than later. But yeah, tough. Thank you so much, Mike. Hit that like button on this video. Go on YouTube, find this channel if you're looking at this from Twitter. The Lasagna Show. Hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family, and maybe have a Blue Mountain while you're watching the show, man. We're drinking from the fancy glass tonight. 15-3 game. It calls for something a little different. Can't just pound it from the can. We gotta celebrate, Celebrate responsibly, is what they say on television. But yeah, overall, fantastic game today. Love what we saw from the pitching to the lineup. Everything is looking solid. We split the series 1-1 so far. We got another game tomorrow. We got Cookie Carrasco on the hill. And I know his ERA is high. It's 5.26, obviously not what you want to see. What's up, Gina? Thanks for coming in here. I appreciate it. That's right, Lou, the silver bullet. You got it. I actually found, damn it, I should have grabbed those clubs. My brother sent me an offer up listing this morning of these golf clubs that say Coors Light on them and then silver bullet underneath. And I was like, where the hell is that? And it was $100. I was like, I don't need it. Turns out it was only 20-minute drive away, and the guy was going to take $60. He said, I got to do it. Got to make the drive. Got to go get those damn things. So bad on me for not having those ready. Well, we're here drinking the silver bullets, so we don't even have the golf clubs that say Coors Light on them ready. Very bad job by me. But back to Cookie Carrasco, tomorrow's starter. The ERA's bad, and you're like, damn, rough spot in the rotation. But I feel like he's been better than he's shown. I mean, he pitched against Kansas City, 5 innings, only 1 run, 4 strikeouts, got the win there. Not a great start against Tampa Bay, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, not great. But against Toronto, 5 innings, no runs, 2 strikeouts. That's all you want from the guy. We're not asking him to step in and be some kind of, stand-in for Garrett Cole. We're not asking for anything above and beyond. Just quality starts. Get 5-6 innings, 3 runs or less. Give the team a chance every 5 days, and we'll take it. So, I mean, I'm happy with what he's given them to this point. There's been some rough starts, obviously. He's not a guy you're going to rely on, doing all this crazy stuff like I just said. But he hasn't been bad. He's given the team a chance, and that's all we can ask for. Facing Povich tomorrow, he's got a 5 ERA, left-handed pitcher. He did have a good start against Washington last start, which is not saying much, but he went 6 2/3, only had 1 earned run. So definitely a good start for him. He had a good start against Toronto a couple starts ago as well. We only give up 2 runs in 5 innings. And the Yankees, historically, at least recently, have struggled with lefties. So I know the 5 ERA is a little bit misleading, but we struggle against lefties. So expect to see Goldschmidt up in the lineup. Expect to see Peraza play again, obviously, with Jazz out. Let's see what happens with Dominguez. He's been struggling against lefties. He sat today against a right-hander. Grisham looks good. Bellinger looks like he's starting to figure things out. Aaron Judge is God. So tough situation, man. Dominguez is gonna have to show that he can produce when he's in there. Obviously, like most of these guys, but when you're a young player trying to establish yourself and you got vets above you that are doing pretty well, or at least starting to find it, and they're paying them a lot of money, those guys are going to play. So hopefully if Dominguez gets to start tomorrow from the right side, he can get some reps, he can learn a few things, and he can, show the team that he can hit lefties. So definitely something I'll be looking forward to as well. Also, some guys in the bullpen, obviously Leiter didn't throw today. Luke Weaver might get some work in. So some of the guys that didn't throw maybe yesterday or today going to get some work tomorrow before the off day on Thursday. So looking forward to seeing how some of those guys look. But yeah, opportunity to win a series tomorrow. Got the Orioles. I mean, I know they're not good right now, but they are getting some reinforcements back. Probably middle of the season. Grayson Rodriguez, Bradish is coming back. I think Zach Eflin. So the rotation will get better. Bullpen isn't great, but they might be just early season struggles. So we'll see how they rebound as the season goes on. But early on, good opportunity for the Yankees to win 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, and they kind of get some more distance on them. So we'll see if they can do it tomorrow. All right, guys. On Thursday, there is no game. One of my buddies from Twitter is going to join me for a series recap. It'll be Thursday afternoon. I know people will be at work. Afternoon Pacific time, Eastern time. It might be around 4 o'clock. So it might, be a decent. Oh, there he is. There he is. Not That Serious is his name in the comments right now. I will put his Twitter handle out there maybe later today, maybe tomorrow night. Definitely will Thursday. So going to have a series recap, first series recap show in the history of the Lasagna show. So really looking forward to that. My guy over here, great baseball mind. He points out things and talks about things that, the average bear doesn't really talk about or think about on Twitter. So I love his insight, and it's going to be a very fun conversation to see what he saw during the series, what he thinks is sustainable, what's not sustainable, and what he thinks about the team going forward. So really fun show coming up for you on Thursday. Make sure you mark your calendars if people still have calendars, or you can do it in your phone. 21st century technology. So once again, fantastic win for the Yankees, 15-3. Offense was fantastic. Carlos Rodon looked great as well. I thank all of you guys for being here in the chat. If you're watching on Twitter, find the YouTube channel, The Lasagna Show. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, copy the link, send it to your friends and family. I will appreciate it so much. Copy it to your social media, post videos, whatever. Do what you're going to do, screenshot, screen record, and let's grow this thing and have some fun together. All right. Fantastic game. A little bit of Coors Light action. Celebratory Blue Mountains. Got to do it. And once again, appreciate you guys in here, and I will see you tomorrow after the post game. Let's see if the Yankees can win the series. All right. Catch you later.